Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're at question number 194. The point of these videos that I'm making is for people who are watching these videos, they get prepared for DevOps and SRE interviews. I'm trying to cover the 15 most important topics in as much depth and width as possible. That way, before you go into the interview, you feel prepared and you feel confident, which will show, by the way. It's pretty even when you take out the nervousness that comes with any interviews, uh, often how prepared you are shows in your confidence level when you go to the interview. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. It's nothing for you, but it's actually a big makes a big difference in my channel. So I would appreciate that. So as you might know from my previous videos, I came up with 15 most important topics based on 35 job descriptions on LinkedIn. These are the 15 topics. The ones at the top are more important than the ones at the bottom. However, the ones at the bottom are also not negligible, so you do have to spend some time on them. But if you're preparing for the interviews, I would spend more focused time on the first maybe 6 or 7 topics than the rest. Okay, today we're in topic number 11, Kubernetes, but I'm not sure why Kubernetes came up at number 11. Should be like at least number 6, 5, something like that, because Kubernetes is used by almost all DevOps orgs these days, and the topic almost always comes up in DevOps and SRE interviews. So I'm not sure why it came up at number 11, but that's my intuition. So the question today is, if you must know the exact name of the resource, like pod or services or persistent volume or what have you, that are available in Kubernetes when you were doing either the YAML files or you're running kubectl commands, right? How can you do that without running kubectl explain command in a recursive way? What? How can you? How can you get the list of these resource types, and their short names without running that command? That's the question. Here, the interviewer is looking for your hands-on capabilities, really, because if you haven't spent too much time in managing Kubernetes resources, you probably won't know this because it doesn't come up in a theoretical kind of way, right? So if you have, then you kind of know that because you kind of need to know this to do your day-to-day work, right? That's the point of this question. Before I move on, just a quick reminder to use my career advisor, Floyd Spencer. I'm not financially affiliated with him. It's not an ad. I just happen to know that he's very passionate about helping people who are in the job market, and he gives away 1 hour free session to anybody who's interested. Okay, back to the answer. So the command is kubectl API-resources. It gives you, like the screenshots here shows you, it gives you all the little resources like pods, namespaces, events, secrets, right? And it also gives the short name that you can use when you're running either the YAML file or when you're running kubectl commands. Now, the thing to understand here is, right, um, when you were running kubectl commands or you were running kubectl apply based on the YAML file, really you were talking to the API server on the Kubernetes backend. That's what you're doing. You're actually authenticating with the cluster, and and at the end of the day, through these YAML files and the kubectl commands, you're really talking to the API server that's running on Kubernetes. And that's why when you run kubectl API-resources, the API server comes back to you and gives you the types of resources that it knows about, right? So in the future, if there's a new version of Kubernetes API and there's a more type of resources available, you will see it. So you're really talking to the API server in the back end. That's the key thing here to remember. So that will help you remember the command kubectl API-resources. Okay, if you have any particular question or feedback, just find me on LinkedIn, or you can simply leave a comment below, and I will see you in the next one.